Welcome back to Switch to Linux. So today we're going to talk a little bit about Copperhead OS. Copperhead is a phone OS. It is available for a few phones on full support, and it can be ported to any other basic phone, Android phone, but it's not fully supported. It is based as a security and a privacy-focused distro. And I'm trying to find the list of devices that you can download it on. All right, so let's go ahead and jump on over to their website real quick. So over here on their website, the devices fully supported are the kind of like the Pixel and Nexus lines from Google. Pixel 2, High-Key 960, is that a Huawei phone, I think? High-Key, Pixel 2, Pixel XL, Pixel, Nexus 6P, and Nexus 5X. Of course, I have a Nexus 5X, so that's what I put Copperhead on. You can download the distro for all of these except for the Pixel, and the reason is they actually sell phones pre-installed with Pixel directly from the store. So it looks like they have Pixel 2 here now, so I don't know, maybe they have the original Pixel available for download. As of a couple days ago, they didn't. So you do have to compile it, but they do give you a nice documentation list. So if you come over to the documentation, you can see they have a user's guide, which is very comprehensive, the technical overview, verified boot. This is one of the advantages of this system is you don't need twerp. You can lock your bootloader, and your phone won't give you a security warning when you turn it on, unlike running Lineage. You have instructions here for building it from source, so you can download everything. Again, these are the fully supported devices here. They tell you that you can port it to anything else, but what you do is you lack the security requirements, like the security updates and things. They will be maintaining the phone's security longer than the developers, but it's not infinite. There is a list. I forget where the list is. It might be under the downloads page. No, I can't remember. There's a list over on the website somewhere that'll tell you about it. Now, why did I switch to Copperhead? Well, I lost complete and total faith in Lineage. Lineage apparently, and I didn't know this, but Lineage does an April Fool's joke every year where they add something to the operating system. Sometimes it's fairly innocuous. Sometimes it's outright inappropriate. This year it was so completely wrong, the entire company can go screw themselves. I mean, and that's pretty harsh for me to say because I don't generally talk like that. All right. So a couple years ago was the final straw for some people where they made every single sound notification a full volume goat noise, which was kind of rude and inappropriate for people. I think what the Lineage team needs to realize is that, hey, morons, people use this for their device. We're not all geeky tinkerers sitting on our corners going, ooh, can I make this thing work? This is a production device. This right now is the only smartphone that I have. It is production. I use it for all communications I need. I use it for my business. It is critical that this is working and this is secured. So what they did this year in April, and they were late on this, an update pushed through around March 30th that somewhere between April 1st and April 10th, people got this validation error that said you might be a victim of software counterfeiting. Discover to find out more about this. And it basically was saying that you clicked on that and you have this device is uncertified and didn't pass the validation. In order to avoid malicious usage of this device's resources, LOS coins will be mined on this device. Learn more, know, and accept. All right. So that's kind of what they did, and they pushed that to everybody's phone under the update protocol. Now, understand that we are been conditioned probably too much to update things immediately, and pushing this type of update basically meant that anybody running this system would get something that seems as though it's potentially some type of virus or malware in a world where malware is common, cryptocurrency miners are out of control, and serious problems with security are everywhere. The last thing a company wants to do is do this kind of crap. So, Lineage, I'm done. There is nothing this company is going to do to possibly get back in my good graces. So unfortunately, that means everything based on Lineage and everything based on Lineage ain't going to be touched by me anymore, period. I'm not taking down the videos about it that I've done previously, but I'm certainly not going to support them, and I'll probably use every opportunity I can to bash them down a little bit more. So Copperhead's not the only other OS out there, but it certainly is one of them. This was just inappropriate garbage. So I went to Copperhead. The installation process, fairly simple, except the fact that there is a known issue right now with Google, where the fast boot application, if you have slightly too old of a fast boot application, it will not allow the OS to boot on your phone, which, by the way, isn't a Copperhead thing. It won't even allow the stock Google to get on your phone. If you use the latest fast boot, there is a validation error in it, and it will not allow it to go on the phone. So what you actually need to do is follow the documentation for installing, and whatever version of Fastboot is right here in this toolkit, this version allows it to work. I flashed this on. It worked perfectly. Too new doesn't work as of right now. Too old doesn't work. This version directly on their website, sweet spot, worked perfectly. Put it in there, had the entire phone back up and running in about 15 minutes once I got that taken care of. So be aware of that if you are trying to put this on a phone. That is what you need to do. You need this version of Fastboot. And then, of course, you can go in and you can relock the device, flash the image on that you need, relock the device. So that is the installation process. Now, there's some changes on this that I was running Nougat on the Lineage phone. I'm running Oreo on this phone. And so some of the differences that I'll talk about here are actually more related to, much more related to the change from Nougat to Oreo. I don't like the direction smartphones are going. I really don't. A lot of it is like they've gotten rid of your button here to pull up your applications menu and replace it simply with a gesture, which is actually not bad. And honestly, that change I'll probably not have a problem with at all. Honestly, it is certainly a good change. The downside is Oreo is supposed to have the ability to add that button back on. Copperhead doesn't have that. So I don't have the ability to put that button back on. I don't care for the icon pack. That's just a stylistic whatever type thing. That doesn't really matter. Other things, the only major thing about this that I don't like on Copperhead is I don't have the option that Lineage has to do a root as ADB, meaning that I can plug this into the computer and I can, plugging it into the computer, I can just tell it to allow a root access through ADB. I have to enter my password and then I can manipulate my system files. That's actually quite important for me because I ran the custom host file on this, which I can't do right now with this. I'm working on another workaround, which I should be able to implement, and I'll update people if I do. Now, some of the things I like about it. They get rid of the basic crappy SMS app, and they give you one called Silence. And Silence is an SMS app, but it also allows for an encrypted technology in the SMS. And so that is one of the things that they do pretty well. I fixed my green screen, my color adjusted. There we are. And so that's good. You can put Signal, and there is another one that is based on Signal. I think it's called Noise, which is essentially the same app. You can put those on the device as well for that type of replacement. And what they kind of recommend is putting both of them on, using Silence as the SMS for the places that Signal or Noise won't work, and then use those for everything else. So it basically gives you a fallback. The other thing that they've done really nice on this is they give you this network monitor. And the network monitor, it will literally play and it will show you everything that is connecting and where it is connecting to. And that's actually a really cool application that it will basically go through. So like I can see right now, there's 4 applications. So Nextcloud is making a connection. So I pull that up and oh, guess what? Nextcloud is only making a connection to my server. That's cool. That's not doing anything. Orbot's, of course, making its connections because that's accessing Tor. And then there's 2 other things that are attempting to get somewhere, but they're being blocked either by my network or by Copperhead. It's pointing out to 0, 0, 0, 0. And so the network monitor tool that they have is actually totally awesome. They do pre-install it with F-Droid. So instead of utilizing your Google services, which they've gone through and taken care of extra stuff, they give you F-Droid. Now, I've run into a problem with F-Droid. I actually had to disable it because even telling it, don't check for updates, don't check anything, it's every hour, it was like giving me a ton, spamming notifications all over. Like, update, blah, 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 update, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, everything's been updated. You push the button, it updates, and it would keep on getting stuck somewhere. So I actually turned off F-Droid. I'll just run it manually when I want to do that. But nearly every application that I wanted was available on F-Droid, I think except for WaterFox. I downloaded that a separate place. I'm using Firefox Clar as my main web browser because I don't have my host file. That's going to block a lot of those trackers by default. After some communication with the gentleman over at Brave, I'm going to run Brave on this for a couple weeks. I'm going to test the network connections. I'm going to see how it functions and how it lines up comparing to Chromium and comparing to Firefox. So I'm going to use that. And Chromium, by the way, is the default browser on this, which is good. Lineage used some crappy thing that didn't work at all, period. I do have this set up with my Nextcloud so I can sync my contacts, my SMS messages. Let's see, contacts, SMS, and like when I transferred everything, I didn't lose a single text message. Transferred all that kind of stuff without a problem. Images, files, all that kind of stuff can sync. They do give you a custom camera app, which is actually quite horrible. It doesn't do color range as well. That doesn't really get in my way very much. So if you do, let me go back to, I don't think I'm going to be able to show you that well, but whoa, that's kind of trippy. Whoa. All right. Messes with the green screen. There you go. So the camera app that they give you is very functionless and actually doesn't expose well. I'm actually okay with that because I use the open camera app. Now I'm becoming ghostly. I use the open camera app because it supports me integrating a separate microphone into the system. And so that's kind of what I wanted to do for there. As far as the settings, another thing that I noticed that you can't seem to do is you can't seem to customize your notification sounds, which is actually a little annoying because I'd prefer my text messages to have a different notification from other system notifications, and I can't find a way to do that. I also can't set a custom contact to have a custom text notification, but I can have them set a custom ring notification. Adding your own ringtones is nice. Oh, and the other great thing about the system, since it's focused on privacy, the first time you run any app, it always takes you to the permission screen first. I don't know if the rest of Android might do that now. That might not be a function of this. I can't remember. But it is certainly not something that happened on Lineage. So everything over here, it is a pretty cool system as far as the connectivity. There are some things like, for example, there is inside the VPN option, you have the option to always turn on your VPN and block all network connections that are not through the VPN. So those are some of the features and functions that you have. Of course, I'm running all that through Orbot to run things through the phone. That's about it as far as the system is concerned. I like it. It's there's a few things that I liked Lineage for a little bit better, but really there's nothing that's a deal breaker for me. I do want to figure out how to get my hosts file on here. I have a few ideas. I'm going to experiment with those, but everything else is pretty good. So it seems to be working out quite nicely. So that's kind of Copperhead, and it is, I'd recommend it if you have the ability to run it on your phone. Certainly is a good option, and F-Droid and other side-loading apps, it's a very good OS so far. I like the network management tools, some of the other tools that they give you, and I like the fact that, now another thing I don't really care about it is it automatically downloads and installs updates for you. I would prefer to have the option. The last thing I need is for me to be traveling somewhere and an update bricks the phone, and I'm not in my office to reinstall stuff. Now, in theory, if that happens, it's supposed to roll back to the previous version, but I'd rather have the option to download, to install or not install an update. But, that's kind of my take. So that's my my brief experience so far with Copperhead. I hope you've enjoyed this video from Switched to Linux. If you'd like to help support the channel, check out the links at the top. There is another video over here. You can check out our Patreon page down here. And you can check out shop.switchtolinux.com for information on a t-shirt like this or some other designs. Thanks for watching, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.